Welcome to B2B Marketing and More with your host, Pam Didner. As a leading marketing and sales enablement strategist, keynote speaker, and author, Pam created this podcast to share her professional experience and insights and help you to be a great B2B marketer. If you enjoy the podcast, please share it with your colleagues and leave a review on iTunes. Now let's get started.
Hello, welcome to another episode of B2B Marketing and More with Pam Didner. This is Pam. Here's a podcast that I share my know-hows and templates. I want to help you see B2B marketing from different lights and be a better B2B marketer, well-rounded, that is. In the episode 101, I talked about what is a messaging framework and the steps that you can take to create a solid one. I don't want to repeat that, but for today's episode, I want to talk about the template. What is the template that you can use to create a product-specific messaging framework? Obviously, it's very hard to talk about a template on a podcast. If you think about it, I don't have anything to show you, visually, but I would appreciate that you can just visualize it and follow along, okay? And I also understand not every one of you needs to create a messaging framework. I get that. However, it's kind of important to know how it's done because you want to be well-rounded. The more you know about B2B marketing, how others do their jobs, the more you can connect the dots and better help your internal stakeholders. So let's get started. Product-specific messaging framework. When I talk about template, there are multiple fields that you have to fill them out. The first one is product or product family name, right? So put down the name of the product and don't put, like I said, a company or a brand specifically. Messaging frameworks tends to be product specific. If you think about it, when we need something or when we want to buy something and we are thinking about to solve our needs or satisfy our desires. Here is a great example. When we are thirsty, we think about, we need to drink some water. We are not necessarily thinking about, okay, I want to drink Fuji water or I want to drink Aquafina, right? As a marketer, obviously, that's what we strive to achieve. When a customer needs something, they think of our brand. That's basically the nirvana of marketing. But when you create messaging framework, you need to bring that down to the ground. It needs to be product specific, all right? So that's the first field, which is product names. The second field is target audience. Obviously, you create a product. That means you want to sell the product to a group of individuals, right? Or an audience segment. So identify one audience segment if all possible. Many people ask me, can I add or fill out like two or more, say, buyer's persona or audience segments? Well, yes, you can. If these audiences face similar challenges and the pain points, and your talking points are very similar when you talk to them, then you can actually have two or more. But the rule of thumb is one. Just have one audience segment, okay? The next field or element is value proposition. You need to craft one statement to explain your product's differentiation in the marketplace. In other words, how do you compare your product with that of your competitors? For Salesforce, it's very clear. The value proposition is the number one CRM in the world, right? The next field, after you craft that one statement of value proposition, is customer challenge. So if you can write down 3 customer challenges that your products or services can solve. I love following the rule of 3. List 3 key customer challenges. Write like 1 or 2 statements per challenge and use the first person. Like, I need to solve blah, 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 or I have this challenge of blah, blah, blah. The reason to write as the first person is that you want your internal teams or agencies to read the challenges as if they are the customers. So basically, write the customer challenge as the first person. It's also okay to actually write as a third person, but my recommendation is always write customer challenges, use the first person. So one example of the customer challenges for the CRM tool can be, hey, I need to see my dashboard anywhere and anytime using any devices. All right. Okay, so if that's one of the customer challenges, the next field is messaging positioning. And this should correctly and directly tie with the customer challenge. And the customer challenge I shared with you earlier is I need to see the dashboard anywhere, anytime using any devices, right? So when I write the one statement or one sentence of the messaging pillar, it can be, hey, your dashboard at your fingertips, right? This is my messaging positioning. Then the next field is product features. So you talk about the customer challenges, you talk about your messaging pillar, which is one statement. The next thing is you need to identify a specific product features that will substantiate your positioning statement. Does that make sense? So, and that's very important actually in the B2B and technology selling. You need to call out a specific features. So the product features for to have your dashboard at your fingertips may be, hey, we have a mobile app. The mobile app is available so that you can access your dashboard anytime from any devices, right? But that's probably easy to explain because that's the product features. The next one is actually user benefits. Sometimes the product features can be super technical. If that's the case, you need to be able to explain the technical product features in plain English so that it resonates with your target audience. The product benefits for this specific case can be access dashboard from anywhere, anytime, from any devices, or from device to device. If you put everything together, all the fields I just mentioned, I started from product name, I moved to target audience, then I create an overarching value proposition, right? That overarching proposition guide the customer challenges. And you tend to get the customer challenges from talking to your customers or the buyer's persona. From there, I create messaging pillar to address each customer challenge. And after that, I identify product features to address the messaging pillar or substantiate the messaging pillar. Then I translate the product features to user benefits. So did you see somehow how that framework looks like, right? So it's products, target audience, value proposition, customer challenge, messaging pillars, product features, followed by user benefits. That is it. That's it actually for the product specific messaging framework. There's one thing I want to share with you, and this is kind of like optional. Given that when I do the messaging framework, I do a lot of research. So I always have a sense in terms of list of keywords that related to my client's products. So I usually add as a bonus a list of keywords as an optional field. I list a list of keywords and I say this is actually great for content creation. And agency and content creators love it because they know what keywords to use when they start creating content. It saves them tons of time. Messaging remains the crucial and the vital foundation for external communications and internal sales training. So here is a quick summary. Number one, if you want to create a messaging framework, use a template. Number two, make sure that your template is logical and hierarchical, right? So you have challenges and challenges tied with the product features and product features tied with the user benefits. Does that make sense? Number three, review and test your messagings with your product teams, sales, and the customers. If you want my template, just go to my website, pamdidner.com, and hit the contact tab and send me a quick email. Or you can contact me, reach out to me through any social media channels. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Once I get your email, I'll send you the template and written samples in no time. So if you like the content, please comment and subscribe to my podcast. I'll share more templates in the future podcast, so stay tuned. I know that it's hard to imagine that from time to time, but just bear with me. I think it's actually useful. Again, I really appreciate that you like and subscribe my podcast. In the meantime, have a great day.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your colleagues and leave a review on iTunes.